On March 20th, 2010, a fissure opened on the eastern flank of Eyjafjallajokull in southern Iceland, a glacier-clad summit with a simmering conduit of andesitic magma. At first, the fissure eruption seemed manageable, producing lava, but the volcano sat beneath an ice cap, and the meltwater would soon change everything. When magma meets ice and meltwater, it fragments violently, producing fine ash through phreatomagmatic explosions and rapid quenching, a recipe for ash-rich plumes. That ash is razor-like to jet engines. It abrades compressor blades, clogs cooling systems, and can cause flameout. Europe relies on narrow, high-altitude flight corridors, so a single ash plume can paralyze travel and commerce. On April 14, 2010, a sudden subglacial explosive phase beneath Eyjafjallajokull sent steam-driven blasts that shredded glacier ice and hurled a razor-fine ash plume into the troposphere and the jet stream. The Icelandic Meteorological Office, IMO, and on-site volcanologists logged a rapid escalation. The IMO raised aviation alerts, and the London Volcanic Ash Advisory Center, VAAC, began issuing formal advisories as satellite channels, notably Meteosat Severi and NASA MODIS, showed a spreading leaden veil streaming southeast over the North Atlantic. Pilots and air traffic controllers reported reduced visibility and gritty fallout on aircraft surfaces en route to Reykjavik and the Faroe Islands, prompting urgent notices to Eurocontrol and national aviation authorities on April 14th and 15th. Subscribe. Maybe it would have warned them sooner. Within hours, the advancing cloud was clearly tracking toward continental air corridors, turning scientific concern into operational alarm and setting the stage for wide-scale flight disruptions. From April 15th onward, the ash cloud streamed southeast, veiling Scandinavia, the United Kingdom, and major hubs such as Paris, Charles de Gaulle, and Frankfurt with a metallic, dusk-like pall. Met Office forecasts, HISPLIT and ECMWF dispersion models struggled to resolve ash concentration and particle size. Severi satellite imagery mapped the cloud's extent, but could not determine milligram per cubic meter thresholds. Ground LiDAR and sporadic aircraft sampling also failed to deliver decisive measurements, so national authorities diverged. The United Kingdom and Ireland closed their airspace on April 15th, while Spain and Italy allowed flights, creating a patchwork of restrictions. Airports filled with stranded families, cargo destined for hospitals was delayed, and airlines including British Airways, Lufthansa, and Ryanair canceled thousands of flights, affecting roughly 10 million passengers. Economic and political pressure mounted on Eurocontrol, ICAO, and EASA to devise clearer safety protocols, pushing the crisis toward a regulatory reckoning. By mid-April 2010, dozens of countries sealed large swaths of European airspace. Runways became spectral ribbons and terminals swelled into cathedrals of stranded travelers as roughly 10 million passengers saw their journeys halted. Empty boarding gates and abandoned trolleys made a stark, almost golden age tableau beneath LED signs reading, "Departures canceled." On the ground, technical teams ran engine checks and ingestion tests on grounded aircraft. In the air, science missions, British Met Office chartered planes, samplers from the Icelandic Meteorological Office, and research flights from the Max Planck Institute collected ash-laden air for sieving and electron microscopy to measure milligram per cubic meter concentrations. Airlines such as British Airways and Lufthansa pressed regulators for answers. Intense talks among Eurocontrol, the European Aviation Safety Agency, EASA, and the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, tried to balance conservative safety limits with mounting economic losses. Diplomats negotiated temporary corridors, while laboratories raced to translate particle-size distributions into operational thresholds, tightening the screw toward a high-stakes decision. In Brussels and London on April 20th through 21st, 2010, emergency meetings brought together Eurocontrol, ESA, ICAO, the United Kingdom Civil Aviation Authority, IATA, and senior airline safety officials. Faced with grounded fleets and swollen airport terminals, they abandoned a blanket zero-tolerance policy and adopted a controversial risk-based approach. Harmonized ash concentration guidance, mandatory airborne and ground sampling, and a phased reopening of air corridors that prioritized cargo and repatriation flights. The decision balanced safety against crippling economic losses and eroding public trust, and flights cautiously resumed under tight monitoring, setting the stage for a post-crisis regulatory overhaul. After the April 2010 eruption, aviation regulators and operators made sweeping changes. ICAO, EASA, and national authorities updated ash guidance, tightened operational thresholds, and imposed mandatory sampling protocols. Governments and industry invested in satellite monitoring systems like Severi and MODIS, improved dispersion models, and set up coordinated advisory centers, while airlines changed maintenance, routing, and contingency procedures to reduce ash vulnerability. In short, a relatively small Icelandic eruption triggered unprecedented global cooperation and permanently reshaped aviation safety standards.